Shalom, welcome to our YouTube channel. If a path are crossing for the very first time, I am Matimba. By Jesus' grace, I'm a Bible teacher, an author, a South African recording gospel artist for the past 2 decades to the glory of God. Would you be kind with your subscription? Kindly click that subscribe red button. Remember, subscription is free. Also click the notification button so that whenever we are granted grace to upload content, you may be notified. Go for all notifications. Also, drop your comment on the comment section. Your take on our contributions means a lot to us. And also like the video in case you like it. But also, share this content. It may be a turnaround in somebody's life. Briefly today, I want to share with you on what I call our marriage journey. We believe by God's grace that it takes the grace of God to have a successful, enjoyable, and a happy marriage life. Secondly, it takes knowledge. The Bible says in Hosea 4 verse 6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou have rejected knowledge, I will also reject you, that thou shalt not be praised to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children." Man, that is quite a very strong statement. Firstly, God says, because you have rejected knowledge, I'll reject you as my priest. The word priest is the Hebrew word kohen. Kohen means, number 1, a minister. 2, it means a prince. 3, it means a worship leader. 4, it means somebody who represents God before the people, and this person represents the people before God. It's so amazing that God will take the issue of knowledge that serious. In other words, if you do not invest in knowledge, you will not be my worshiper, you will not minister before my presence, you will not be my prince, and you will not represent me. It makes sense. Remember in John 1 verse 1, he calls himself the Word, Logos. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So he is the expression of his thoughts. When we do not have knowledge, what are we going to pass? The painful part about this text is that the Lord says, not only will I reject you, but I'll also forget your children. That is serious. Why? Because when one generation lacks, when it comes to the knowledge bank, the knowledge, we are not going to pass anything worthwhile to the next generation. I've come to learn this statement. You cannot give what you don't have. We cannot lead people where we have never been. Therefore, in our marriage journey, it's important that you and I should know. Now, when we look at a journey, let's reflect on the people of Israel, but go back to what God said to Father Abraham in Genesis 15, verse 13 through 15. The Bible teaches us that your people, your children will be enslaved for 400 years. But in that plan that the Lord revealed to Father Abraham, there were 3 key things that were essential when we look at the journey from Egypt to Canaan. Number 1, God had a physical plan. What I mean by that is that he had in mind that the children of Israel must be physically fit for them to be able to execute their journey effectively, productively, and have a wonderful one. In other words, physicality in a journey is important. So is the case in our marriage journey. We need to be physically fit. But let's touch the second one. The second thing in that plan was what I call by God's grace, the ability to develop their creativity. In that space, they were doing project management, they were engaged in building, they were engaged in agric, they were engaged into a lot of things. It came wearing the overall called hard labor. But God had a mission to make sure that number 1, they are physically fit, but number 2, their minds are creative. Even today, it is not a secret that the Jewish people have majorly contributed to the family of man in a very incredible way. Because what you have as a generation, you'll pass to the next generation, you'll pass to the next generation, you'll pass to the next generation, just like that. So it's important that in our generation, We need to inquire and acquire as much as we can so we'll be able to equip the next generation. The other issue is that God had a diet plan for them. When we look at Numbers chapter 11 verse 5, we learn 6 kinds of foods that the children of Israel were eating. Number 1, they talk about fish. Number 2, we see cucumber. Number 3, we see melons. Number 4, we see leeks. Number 5, we see onions. Number 6, we see garlic. In the previous video, we spoke about how to make it enjoyable. And one of the things that the Lord gave us grace to share, it's the diet part of it. Family, we need to combine creativity in our marriage life. Number 2, we need to combine a right diet. Number 3, we need to combine physicality. Allow me to close with physicality. In the study of the body, in physiotherapy, we learn that there are very interesting things when it comes to the need for us to be fit. 1, we ought to develop muscular strength. Number 2, we ought to develop muscular endurance. 3, we ought to develop cardiovascular endurance so that we may have body composition. Let me do some definitions, then we close. The word muscular strength simply means the amount of force you can put out or the amount of weight you can lift. You and I know better as married people that worship in that intimate moment requires physicality. But also, muscular endurance simply means how many times you can move that weight without getting exhausted. 3, cardiovascular endurance simply means the ability to exercise without becoming overly tired because your heart, your lungs, your blood vessels are healthy. Family and friends, it's important for us to have this knowledge so we can be ready to make sure that our families are happy, our families prosperous. May the Lord bless you. Let's welcome my life, the love of my life, the woman that still makes my heart beat fast and slow at the same time. Lebogang is a name to share a little more. Don't go away. Let's welcome her right now. Shalom, 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 everybody.
Shalom, everyone out there.
Thank you so much for staying with us even at this very moment. Today we are bringing, by God's grace, some little information when it comes to the subject of physicality and that wonderful, intimate, therapeutic exercise you and I so dearly love, though we don't become vocal about it, because you think other people will judge you. But you know what? We are sexual beings, and we bless the Lord that today we are here to continue. A special appreciation to everybody who has watched the previous videos where by God's grace we've been talking about who should initiate it first, and it is actually the most watched one so far. And also we dealt with the second one where we're discussing how to make it enjoyable. Today we want to add another facet, which is
don't let sex send you to the ER.
Came across this program some years ago on TV. And it was just amazing that, people, lovers will be having a good time, and all of a sudden a muscle cramp will just hit, or something will just happen.
But with them it's so funny. What would happen is that you'll find people having sex, maybe in the bush or something, and then a scorpion or a spider will just bite them, and then they go there.
And they'll say, sex sent me to the ER.
Yeah.
But some will also have muscle
pulls,
and all of that. And it got us thinking, in addition to what we want to share, that seemingly the area of physical fitness plays such an important role in enhancing our intimate, therapeutic activity. You know what I'm talking about?
So it's therapy.
It's therapy.
Sex is therapy.
And it's an intimate moment. It's worship. It's a moment to praise and love the Lord while you are having a bonding time with the lover of your life. Let's talk about physicality, my love. When we were doing an intro of this, we made it clear that even with the children of Israel, God's plan was one, to help them be creative by engaging them into building projects. It was wearing the overall called hard labor. But guess what? It was God's idea to get them fit physically, to get them fit mentally, but also to have them have a good diet so they can be able to produce a very strong, healthy, and wiser generation. Physicality.
There's this statement that I got to know somewhere along the way, which says, a healthy mind, a healthy body.
Yeah.
But I think, it's vice versa. A healthy body, a healthy mind.
Yeah.
Research proves that exercise is a potential factor, a very protective factor in dealing with chronic illnesses and diseases.
Yeah.
So apart from diseases and illnesses, exercise can also help with the overall psychological well-being of an individual.
So true. It helps us to develop muscular strength. It helps us to develop muscular endurance, because remember, it's an exercise, it's an activity. Science teaches us that you can even burn calories when being engaged in a pleasurable, wonderful moment of love.
So when you are busy doing the exercise,
yeah,
I don't know how
exercise,
you do it, but when
you exercise
you do the exercise
and exercise right there, just know you're developing some cardiovascular endurance,
and you are developing what we call
the body composition as well.
Yes.
Listen, it is important for us to invest into our sex life by also being physically fit. Some of these things, remember, it's not easy to talk about these things, but when we do not adhere to the knowledge that the Lord wants us to have and apply, the consequences are heartbreaking. The price we pay is so high. The things we lose because our marriage life don't work well, it's so brutal. Think about your children. Think about the relatives. Think about the families that you have come to know. Think about God's purpose for your union. And if you and I are considerate of that, therefore, it will help us understand that we need to gather all the knowledge we can gather and apply it, including physical fitness. Actually, look at this. You don't have to pay a gym to do this.
You can just take a walk.
Take a walk.
You can jog.
And do it together. It's best when you do it together.
You lift some few things. Maybe you can lift me.
And you know what I'm saying?
3,
just
4, 5.
You pick it up.
Can you do it?
Yes, ma'am. But the space don't
allow me.
The space won't allow me.
I'm not really sure about that.
But then, I can pick you up.
But then what we know about exercise is that when coming to exercise, the correlation between exercise and sex is that it also improves the performance and the satisfaction.
So true.
Because if the performance is good, normally even satisfaction.
Therefore, and also don't forget the tips we shared in our previous video. Do not be selfish. It takes two to tango. Both of us must walk the journey. When you feel the fire, don't respond, just hold and hold till you get there to that Mount Ararat or Mount Kilimanjaro.
And remember, you can only go as far as your body can take.
That's powerful. Say that again.
You can only go as far as your body can take.
I remember one powerful preacher spoke about that even in preaching. Your physicality, your physical fitness is important.
Yes.
So some of the powerful preachers or the God's generals in our time and age run. Somebody like Bishop Tito Bismarck, he runs. Somebody like Bishop Noel Jones, they exercise. Even the Bishop T.D. Jakes, they do exercise. And other servants of God that we love and appreciate, physical exercise is important. But today, we're talking about its importance when it comes to us saving our marriages.
And with exercise, there are a few benefits.
Yes.
It is said that when you exercise, now we're taking in terms of sexual activity and sexual satisfaction as well as sexual performance. He said that when you exercise, you improve the blood flow to the genital region.
So true. Remember, another way of improving that is diet, but the other way it's physical exercise.
And the other one is muscle flexibility.
Yeah.
You know, when you get there, you have to be flexible.
Yeah.
Come on, you don't want
muscular
to have
strength,
an experience whereby
endurance.
you are busy laboring
and lifting up the name of the Lord and worshiping.
2 minutes down the line, you're like, and now you give someone a traumatic experience.
Now you have to spend on rushing to the hospital. You have to spend on consulting the doctor. You have to spend on.
And I think even your spouse, the next time you ask for it.
Last time experience scared me.
I just hope it doesn't repeat,
Yeah.
So please do us a favor. One other thing it's about age.
Yeah.
It is said that sexual performance declines with age. But we believe that with exercise
and
we can modify
diet,
with exercise and right diet we can modify the decline.
Father Abraham at 99, he was still active. Even later in Genesis 25 verse 2 and 3, he still had 6 more kids.
We do understand that, as we age, certain things do change.
Yeah.
But please don't get older than your age.
Yeah.
Don't get there before you're already there.
Yeah.
You actually are there. So exercise. For as long as you're still alive, you still have the energy, you still have what it takes. The little movements that you make
makes a big difference. It's been a joy being with you today. We're signing out. Matimba Power here.
Don't let sex
sends you to the ER. Have a wonderful, lovely, successful marriage. Be lifted. Shalom.
Amen.
Thank you so much for taking your time to listen. Before you sign out, would you mind to subscribe, click the notification button, drop your comment, like the video and share. And also, look at the 18 materials that the Lord has given me grace to contribute in the past 2 decades, both as written material and also music CDs, available for a very beautiful special gift. Thank you so much. Shalom, and have a fruitful and God-fearing life. David, ubonisi wanga